The Chinese curse states, "May you live in exciting times." We don't feel cursed, but we're certainly challenged by all the Sturm und Drang that we face today as Americans and as members of the Jewish people. We are concerned about our role in Afghanistan and Iraq. We are concerned about Iran's efforts to spread and finance terror, as well as Iran's efforts to create nuclear weapons aimed at our people. We are concerned about Israel and the challenges she faces militarily and politically. But such concerns need not make us feel accursed. They should energize us to seek answers and provide answers so that these and other problems that we face can be solved amicably and effectively. Hence, our gathering tonight. We are here to learn more and to understand better from those who would be our leaders how they see such situations and their proposals for their amelioration. To protect our Heritage Political Action Committee, through our educational wing, and all the synagogues and Jewish organizations who are co-sponsoring this forum, have come together with but one single purpose: not to tell you whom to vote for, but to promote greater understanding of the issues which concern us about America's role in these challenging times, and how the Israel-American alliance can be strengthened as a force for freedom, human rights, and democracy for ourselves and for the larger world. That quest has been our heritage and our responsibility. To further that quest, we invited both Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky and Challenger Joel Pollak to speak at tonight's forum. And we are most happy that both the incumbent and the challenger consented to be present. This is a first for us because it's the first time in the many candidate forums that are sponsored by To Protect Our Heritage that an incumbent has consented to appear with a challenger. We personally commend her for this decision. And all of us here should realize that this is something that is in our best interest, because as citizens, our obligation is to know as fully as possible the opinions and plans of those who would be our leaders, and whose wisdom and understanding can help guide America in these challenging times. We appreciate their taking time to be with us. We appreciate their willingness to hear our concerns and answer our questions. Please, dear friends, note that we, the listeners, pledge to listen carefully and courteously, because that is the high road of civility in a civil society. Today we say, Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. How good and pleasant for brethren to dwell together for the sake of e pluribus unum, the diversity that leads to greater unity. Before I state the rules for tonight's forum, let me thank the Rabbi of Congregation KINS, Rabbi Dr. Leonard Matanke, and his entire congregation for hosting this forum. And on the cards that you were handed, there's a list. If you don't believe in the Messiah, you should, if you see this list of Jewish organizations who've come together for this purpose. I mean, this is Atchalta de Geulta, so we should appreciate that. We want to thank each and every organization and congregation who've joined to protect our heritage for this occasion. And protect our heritage is our name and our purpose. We also want to thank the management of the Park Plaza retirement home for allowing this audience to use their parking facility, and the Associated Talmud Torahs and the Ida Crown Jewish Academy for allowing us to use their parking facilities at the same time. As you probably know, the cost of things are always factored in. In order to get everybody to be on board, all we said was, if you'll join us, all you have to do is send 2 email blasts and publicize this at your open meetings or congregational services. And if you look and see the audience about you, then you see that each of us has done our part. However, there are some costs, and they're rather expensive costs. And on the back of this card is an opportunity, if you will, to contribute to defray some of those costs. That's the whole appeal. That's the way I make appeals on the holidays. So if you'll be generous, we would appreciate it, because most of the monies that are collected through the Political Action Committee go to support candidates who are supportive of Israel. Okay, so now let's read the rules. Please take note. Each candidate will be allowed 5 minutes for an opening and concluding statement of similar length. The order of presentation has been determined by the candidates' coordinators by a coin toss. The candidates will present their own views and will not challenge their opponents' views. The audience will present questions in writing to the ushers. Both candidates may respond to each question in a limited time of 2 minutes. We have a timekeeper. We observe that time. We started it practically at 7, so that you know we're yekis. The questions will deal mainly with issues dealing with the Middle East, Asia, Israel, and American foreign policy. However, if candidates wish and time permits, they can respond, if they so desire, to questions on broader issues. And the ushers will pass out among you. You've gotten pencils, you've gotten 3x5 cards. We have lots of pencils and lots of 3x5 cards, and the ushers will be wandering around, and please hand them the questions, and they will hand them to the panel so that we can see that there's no duplication of questions. Please be advised that none of the sponsoring organizations has endorsed or financially supported any of the candidates for this office prior to the forum. And the audience is asked to withhold applause until the end of the forum. And the dignity of this place, kavod lamakom, is to be respected by our best conduct. No shouting, no booing, no clapping, no photography, and we should be grateful for all of those who engage in public service. This is an honor for our PAC. It's an honor for our people. It's an honor to honor the candidates and for the country which we inhabit and the needs that we have from our public officials. And now, candidate 1 will talk. Now, by agreement, Alex had the first choice, and you're going to go second, and you're going to give the last word, Jan. Okay.
Shalom Aleichem, ברוכים הבאים לרבנים ולכל הקהל המכובד הזה. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings and welcome, everyone. My name is Joel Pollak, and I am the Republican challenger for U.S. Congress in the 9th District of Illinois. My general platform comes down to 3 basic principles: job creation, fiscal responsibility, and protecting America and our allies. Tonight, our focus is Israel, America's most important ally, not just in the Middle East, but the world. Today, that alliance is more important than ever before. Whenever I speak about Israel, at the behest of one of my former professors, I always bring a map. And the most important map of all is the map of the Middle East. It is important when speaking about Israel to put things in perspective, because there is a very dangerous idea on both the far left and the far right that Israel is the cause of all the problems in the region. The map reminds us how absurd that idea is. You look at the countries on the map and you're reminded of how many conflicts there are in the Middle East that have nothing to do with Israel, whether it's Darfur or Afghanistan or anywhere else. The real danger today to peace and stability in the Middle East is the Iranian regime, its drive for nuclear weapons, and its support for terrorism. A few days ago, Iran's president gave a speech on the southern Lebanon border, promising to destroy Israel. In addition, Israel faces the continued danger of terrorism as the Iranian regime continues to arm, fund, and inspire Hamas, Hezbollah, and Islamic Jihad. And Israel also faces the delegitimization efforts of its enemies and, unfortunately, of some of its supposed allies at the United Nations and in the media, where the Goldstone Report and similar efforts try to deny Israel the right to defend her citizens. Just last week, the Palestinian Authority refused to accept Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state, and that's part of this comprehensive effort at delegitimization. In my very strong view, the Obama administration has not done all it could to protect Israel from those dangers. In fact, it has often aided and abetted them. President Obama singled Israel out as the main obstacle to peace. He condemned Israel in March and again last week for construction it has every right to undertake. He has appeased the Iranian regime instead of standing up to it, and he has failed to defend democracy in Iran at a crucial moment. President Obama's policy, in my view, has made it acceptable to hate Israel openly in polite society. Journalist Helen Thomas was fired for making hateful statements about Jews, but she had vilified Israel for years and felt comfortable exposing her views in this climate. The Obama policy has also encouraged the world to scapegoat Israel and Jews, not just in the Middle East, but closer to home, where Manuel Zelaya of Honduras blamed Israel and Jews when he was ousted from power. In addition, President Obama has supported an effort to divide the pro-Israel community and sever the close relationship between Congress and the State of Israel. I'm talking about his administration's strong support for a group called J Street, which takes foreign money to change American foreign policy. J Street opposed Israel during the Gaza War, it defended Richard Goldstone, and it attacks any Jewish leader, from Elie Wiesel to Joe Lieberman, who criticizes the Obama policy. Everybody claims to be pro-Israel, but the term pro-Israel has been diluted. A pro-Israel Congress would not just vote for foreign aid. A truly pro-Israel Congress would vote to defund the UN Human Rights Council. It would deny funding to the Palestinian Authority until it stopped inciting terror and until it recognized Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state. A truly pro-Israel Congress would investigate the State Department for supporting a would-be dictator and anti-Semite like Manuel Zelaya. A truly pro-Israel Congress would criticize and rebuke President Obama for singling out Israel and humiliating Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A truly pro-Israel Congress would have provided assistance to the Iranian democracy movement. A truly pro-Israel Congress would declare that any attack on Israel will be regarded as an attack on the United States and that the U.S. will support Israel in the event it must launch a preemptive strike. A truly pro-Israel Congress would demand that the international community act now to free Gilad Shalit. That is the kind of pro-Israel Congress I want to create. I want to be a leader on the floor of the House, not just a vote. I want to propose bills and push the president to make the right decisions. Now is the time. There are many bad policies Congress has passed over the past 2 years. We can repeal the health insurance law and replace it with a better one. We can cancel the unspent stimulus funds, but we can't reverse a nuclear Iran, except at great risk and great cost. We don't want to look back and say, what could we have done? Sanctions alone may not be enough. We need to fight for the U.S.-Israel alliance on every front, because by November 2012, it may be too late to make a difference. Thank you. Shukran. Toda rabah.